And what is going on, everybody? So, welcome to a brand new episode of the Phillies Top Podcast. It is your host, Robert from the Phillies Sports Top Podcast. So, in today's episode, we got a lot to talk about on the Phillies today. But before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new, we are coming to you live from the Phillies Sports Top Podcast channel and the Spotlight Sports Network YouTube channel as well. Make sure you leave a like on both streams, and we're coming to you live from Facebook and my Twitter and my Twitch, all linked down below in the description. Let's get to some comments here. What is good, BLSG? What up, Dante? What a normal guy. So, I got to get a few things off the chest because this team, Jesus Christ, there's like I said, I kind of gave a little preview on my morning show if I have not tuned into that. So, I said earlier this morning on my morning show that this team feels like a complete failure at this point in the year. Now, I know they're probably going to be some feelings fans like, "Oh, it's so early." Like, no, like we're almost towards the All-Star break, and nothing has changed. And what I mean by that is just like we have the same amount of wins as the Baltimore Orioles. That's how bad this team has been playing so far to start off the 2022 campaign. Now, it gets to the point where, like, if I'm Dombrowski or Middleton, for Christ's sakes, honestly, Arku, I had zero expectations because I know the Phillies were going to be like, because the Phillies always finds a way to disappoint us. And I said this too, like, we have not seen playoff baseball since 2011. Since then, like, this entire team has gone down the crapper. 2015, we brought in Andy McFlop, and we brought in McClintock, back in 2015. That didn't work. We brought in Gabe Kapler as our new manager. That didn't work out. Now we get to Joe Girardi, which I will give my thoughts in just a second, is that we are 8 games under 500, or I think we're 8 games under 500. Hey, look, I'm not surprised. This entire team is certain arms. There are certain arms that we need to cut our losses with, and one of them is Jose Alvarado. With Alvarado, I mean, he's got good stuff, but the problem that I have with him, he can't throw strikes. That's one of the problem that I have with Alvarado. Number 2, when it comes to Joe Girardi, obviously mismanaged the bullpen. Like this year, Sir Anthony has been balling out like better than what I was seeing out of Sir Anthony Dominguez. Prior to obviously last year he got Tommy John surgery, which kept him out. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I think it was, but came back healthy. Probably one of our better bullpen arms. I mean, look, Angel Bellotti sometimes can get roughed up, but Angel Bellotti has been he's been also been reliable out of the pen too. But like I said, problem is Joe Girardi's incompetent of mismanaging the bullpen, and obviously with some of the shit lineups that he's put in, not each and every game that he put in play or decides to make the lineup card. Like, for instance, obviously throughout the entire year, we had Schwarber leading off. Then in some other games, we had Hoskins leading off. Like, from a coaching standpoint, like, you have someone like Segura who has great numbers as a leadoff hitter. So what makes you think that, number one, Hoskins? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's another thing too. We're seeing these other bad. Well, I don't say consider the Rangers bad, but I think they're below average. So I mean, performing way better than we are. Hell, even like I said, we're at the Baltimore. We have the same amount of wins as the Baltimore Orioles with 21 wins, and it gets to the point where you would think someone like Girardi, would actually have the common decency or the common sense, I should say, to look at this and and be smart about it. That isn't the case. Based on the fact of the matter is that Girardi at times is stuck in his own ways. the way I can basically the comparison a lot of Philly sports fans can make is basically Girardi is basically the MLB version of Doc Rivers. Now that's the one of comparison you don't want to have. Now it's just I don't know with Girardi anymore. It gets to the point where like even myself included, all Phillies fans want his ass fired because look, even though because the thing is too, it's like you're the manager, you're supposed to motivate the team. The fact you're not doing that and not letting basically because like from a player's perspective, like myself, I can speak from a perfect example. I played with coaches where they're so hard nosed, but they're willing to help you to get better. Joe Girardi is the complete opposite. And based on the fact that, look, I mean, Camargo has been playing well, which is rightfully understood. Obviously, Stott, like I said, has his struggles. Now we just got Moniette back. We have Moniette back because Roman Quinn, like I said, many times, I will say that he doesn't belong in the major leagues. He's a minor leaguer at best. Probably double A or high class A. Hell, even when you just stick him in rookie ball for all I care, because Roman Quinn is not that great. The only time we ever use Roman Quinn, number one, is say we're up. Like for example, if we're up 10 runs, Roman Quinn's the only guy we're going to put him out there for that specific garbage time, and also use him as a pinch runner because he's also fast, but he can't hit to save his life. That's the problem. Girardi at times is relying on guys that are way below average. Now, I did kind of mention about Schwarber a little bit, which I'll get into in just a second, is that, I don't know, like it gets to the point where like, when is enough? Like out of the signings that we made, look, I mean, we can probably definitely cut a lot. Well, I mean, there's some players I think we can cut losses with. Like I said, one of them is Jose Alvarado because the dude cannot throw a strike to save his goddamn life because the control is not there. For a guy who is in the upper 90s, can also top out in triple digits, but can't throw a strike, I'm sorry, but that's not going to fly with me. And the fact that the matter is, and same with James Norwood. James Norwood is absolute fucking garbage. And what I mean by this is, I mean, that's the reason why I think we trade. I don't know how the Cubs got rid. Yes, absolutely. But like I said, we're getting close to the All-Star break. We're soon to be entering the month of June. So we got another month before we get to the All-Star break in July. Like, for example, and the fact of the matter, and that's another thing too, like, why hang on to guys that then again, we had Girardi for about a year, but this is like a second year with us. But it's getting to the point where like it's starting to wear thin. And it just shows at times that the Phillies and Joe Girardi himself, like the fact that Joe Girardi is not worried about his job security, is completely embarrassing. It's embarrassing to say the least. That's like, oh, I'm not worried about it. It's like, dude, use your brain. We all humans have brains. It's getting to the point where like the fact that Girardi is not using his brain is embarrassing and disgusting. Yeah, Tommy, we'll be doing the game tonight at 6:45. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Girardi and part of our like I said, and there's like James Norwood at this point we can cut a loss with him because the dude, each and every outing that apparently Girardi wants to go with him, always is constantly getting knocked around. And obviously with Nick Nelson, another former Yankee, played under Girardi. Before Girardi, or I think Girardi got booted before getting booted from New York. But that's here nor there. But the fact that Girardi sometimes goes to Nick Nelson one too many times. Look, look, I don't think Nick Nelson is bad by any stretch of the means, but if you leave him out, like say 1 inning, maybe inning and 2/3, maybe at least, we should be okay. Because I think Nelson is good for at least about an inning 2/3 at best. But when you try to give him like a whole another full inning, yeah, that's where he starts to be. There's where you see his struggles. It's just like it's getting to the point where, like, do we fire him or do we really need to start making adjustments? Because we need to do something before the trade deadline. Now, like I said, we can cut losses with Alvarado because the Duke, like I said, can't throw strikes worth a damn, and Norwood, who knows what the hell's going on with him? He can get out of Philly as well because obviously he doesn't fit in the bullpen. I mean, look, I know Knebel has his struggles. But I'll say just give it I think there's going to be a time where he starts getting hot. I say give him just so keep him going. If he doesn't work out this entire year, just let him walk. Plain and simple. It's a 1-year deal. Same with Familia. Oh, come on, Dante. I know you like to troll. But on the serious note, but it's just a lot of Philly fans are really kind of getting fed up with Girardi's mismanagement, his incompetence, and the way how he just wants to manage. I don't get it because it's it's getting to the point where we've had enough. It gets to in the back of our minds as all Phillies fans, let's be real. We haven't had a decent, solid winning manager since Charlie Mandel back in 2007. And then I think we fired him prior to in early 2015, which I'll say that much was the worst mistake that the Phillies have made. Because I don't know. Maybe it's just probably the front office thing, and I'll say we could definitely use new ownership because I just feel like Middleton's really not doing nothing. Look, the fact was willing to go over the luxury tax threshold was great, but I just see it as a complete failure up to this point so far in the first half. Now, who's to say if the Phillies turn it around, which I doubt they ever will, because that's how they always, for some reason, I don't know, it's getting to the point where I think most of us Phillies fans want Girardi out of Philly. And rightfully so, because it's even though this roster has not been constructed perfectly, it's just Girardi frustrates the entire Phillies fan base. And that's the thing, too. Now, speaking of the Astros, they're willing to go out and play. Whereas some of the players on this fucking Phillies team, they don't want to fucking show up. Nick Castellanos is doing what he can try to help this team, to carry this team on his back. Harper with the torn UCL is doing what he can. We have an above average starting rotation finally. Which is shockingly to say because our starting rotation was absolute garbage. Well, to some extent, I would say, based on the fact that which Philly team had them. Right now, right now in the recent memory, I also have to give it to the Eagles last year because despite the Eagles somehow get lucky to make the playoffs, and obviously playing crap in the first round, but nobody expected us to make the playoffs. So at least there was some bit of success with the Eagles. Phillies always had been sometimes. The Phillies are hit and a miss sometimes, depending on which series. Perfect example this year, we can't beat the fucking Mets for shit because the Mets are leading the series 9-3 against us, and they don't. Look, we have Sam Fold as our GM at this point. I'm trying to think who was our previous GM at the. Yeah, that's true. Well, that depends on who you're asking, or the kind of players that you're asking. Because Harper's doing what he can. Nick Castellanos, despite the slump, he's doing the best he could. is doing the best they can. Schwarber, we could probably just get out of his contract ASAP because the dude just is a constant strikeout machine. It's frustrating. Hoskins, we can just let his ass walk at this point. Because the thing about it with Hoskins is like the dude just wants to look for free passes. That is not going to fly in Major League Baseball. Yeah, it's nice to get a walk every once in a while, but when you're down this far, like, yeah, granted, where we are, I will try to see if I can bring up the standings and see where we're sitting. Because obviously tonight at 6:45, I'm going to guess I'm putting my sanity through the Phillies and the Giants. Now we got Ranger Suarez on the bump against Jacob Junis. Now, I'm not saying that like I said, the Phillies are at times are hit and miss sometimes, depending on which series you're looking at. And it's just like the Mets series that we played so far. When we played total of 12 games against the Mets, but we won 3 out of the 12. But you had the Mets win nine of them. It's embarrassing. And and some of the players like Roman Quinn, I don't think he's going to buy in. I truly don't think he's going to truly buy in because the dude's an absolute piece of garbage. Alvarado, who knows what the hell? I don't know. And it feels like JT. It's ready much as I hate to say it, but I mean, I think JT. But earlier, I wanted JT to be benched because Garrett Stubbs has been playing well, which is very shocking to say because for those, I mean, even though Garrett Stubbs has been on many different teams but has not produced well, but apparently he's playing some of his best baseball here in Philly, which is very crazy to understand. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, there's nothing positive about this team whatsoever. None. And the fact some of these players are not buying in, and the fact you have guys like Castellanos, who's trying his damnedest his hardest to keep this team afloat, along with Harper, who has a torn UCL. And you're telling me, and I'll say this too, and the fact you don't have Segura leading off too, like Segura should always be your leadoff guy no matter what. Because he's always had I think above a 300 average as a leadoff hitter from what I've understood and from what the numbers showed. Like, Harper, or not Harper, but Hoskins is more of a 5 or 6 hole hitter. But why the hell are you letting Hoskins lead off, some games, and then you're going to go back to doing your same bullshit and having Schwarber lead off? That's what cost us games, along with mismanaging bullpen that can throw it in there. Obviously, going to the guys that are absolute trash. James Norwood, Jose Alvarado. Who else is? I don't even know who else is in our bullpen. Knable. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because you got to think too. I don't know, but it's ridiculous of how bad this, or just how much is a failure. I mean, look. Getting Castellanos, yes, that was great. And look, and he's been producing as best he could. Schwarber is just way below average. So at this point, I'd say just release Schwarber from his contract and just let the dude be a free agent and let somebody else pick him up. Because at this point, he's just pretty much stealing money from us. I think it was like 79 and a half, I think it was, or it might be something less than that. Like you shot at the 6 I'm coming in here. You want to hear me rant on this I don't know, but it's really like I don't really understand like the fact that look, getting a couple of relievers, yes, was a good start, but Familia just hasn't been great. Corey Knebel has been hit and miss sometimes, and Bilotti has been very solid. I mean, there are times where he might go on a stretch where he might get knocked around a little bit, which is to be expected. Someone like Bilotti, I don't even know where the hell he even got Bilotti, but Bilotti looks like Bilotti has been, like I said, has been a very solid arm, along with Anthony Dominguez, which, might I add, the fact that Girardi is not willing to use Sir Anthony Dominguez, like, say if I'm Dominguez, if I'm not going to have, not my opportunities, Wait, Glenn Otto? Hang on a second. Give me 1 second here. I don't know. Glenn Otto. Let me check. Arco, let me get back to you on that really quick because I don't really, like I said, Norwood needs to go because I can see why. Uh, no, Arcu, you got Otto from the Yankees, along with three others in exchange for it was during for that Joey Gallo trade along with Julio Rodriguez. Now a lot of Phillies fans probably not know who the hell that is, but he was one of our former bullpen guys who actually had a pretty solid, some decent years here in Philly. Like I said, some like pitchers like James Norwood should not. No, I got you, Arco. I got you. But like I said, James Norwood is just like I literally don't know what the hell. I don't know. Like, if you're not, because I know a lot of people who are not Phillies fans need to realize of the constant disappointment year in, year out, with this team. And we had a lot of good players come and gone. We had Utley, Howard, Burrell, Worth, Chooch. Hell, even J.A. Happ. Hope J.A. Happ has a good retirement. Let me see. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh, but yeah. And I don't know. It's just like it's kind of getting ridiculous to the point where like, how much longer do we have to suffer of not having a playoff drought or not seeing postseason baseball? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous to say the least. And something needs to give. Either it could be, Milton selling the team, which let's be real, that should be the last resort because let's be real, Milton ain't that great of an owner anyways. Have a $240 million payroll despite the fact, allowing Dombrowski to go over the luxury tax threshold. And, Cole Hamilton as that one comes to mind. Because we traded him for 2015. I'm trying to think who we got in return. No, wait a minute. Oh, jeez, I can't. Yeah, because I forgot what the. I have no idea. I have no idea because I remember we traded Cole Hamels to the Rangers, but I don't remember what the return was. But yeah, he's out the four that's still tuning into to episode 6 of the Phillies First Stop, the Phillies Stop podcast, I should say. Make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, guys. Are new. Definitely share the content out. Every bit helps to try to get on the road to 1K. Right now, I will say it's just like, it gets to the point where like a lot of Phillies fans that I know, we're all getting frustrated because it's like, that this team just doesn't want to. It just seems like I think Brett Mars said it best. For those who don't know Brett Mars, and I know a lot of Phillies fans will remember one of the greatest moments in postseason history. It's his bat against CC Sabathia. No, I know he was an okay pitcher at best, but he had some good. He had a good postseason run with us. It's just, and the fact that there's like, and he even said it best. The fact that the Philly way no intensity. If you go back to the 2007, 2008 teams, they had intensity. They actually wanted to win. I mean, so it had like J-Roll, Chase Utley. Who else can I mean, you got Ryan Howard, Worth, Cole Hamels, hell, even Jamie Moyer. I don't know. A lot of Phillies fans won't remember that guy. But it's getting to the point where All right. But yeah, like I said, this team is very frustrating to say the least. Um I don't know anymore, man, because it's like either we either fire Girardi, which it might seem that we might not pick up his contract option. Um I don't know. Like it just let me see. All right. All right. So now let me get to see if I can share my screen with you guys. Oh my god. Man, my computer is lagging like a bitch. So just bear with me here, guys. Because computer is lagging like a motherfucker. Get out of here. But yeah, so when I was kind of talking about where we are in the standings and go away. I don't know. It's just I don't know. But this team is, like I said, it's like I know we're gonna beat it's sound like a broken record. Like now, okay, let me. So obviously the AL East, we had Baltimore, who's 12, so 21 and 29, but we are 21. We are 7 games under 500. Now we need to, like I said, we need to do something at the trade deadline. The fact that we lost, no, we are 3-7 in our last 10 games. We're 11.5 out of the first place spot. We lost 4 straight against 500 teams, and we're below 500 at home. So, like Hunter said, I mean, something has to give. Something has to give. Like it's getting to the point where, like, because I think a lot of Phillies fans, we want to see postseason baseball in Philadelphia, which I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's, like I said, it's not going to happen because, I don't know. But either way, it's embarrassing. It's like I don't know what other words to describe or just really criticize. This is how poorly the organization has been. The last couple of years now. Like we hell, it gets to the point. It's almost embarrassing. So the fact that we're going to see the Mariners going to make the postseason via the wild card. Now, if we don't make that, then either way, like I said, Jordy might have to go. Jeez, the last. Actually, it's been a decade. Actually, because 2011, I think, as I remember the last time I saw the Rangers in the postseason. I think 2011, because that wasn't. I think that was 2011. So it's been about a little over a decade. When it comes to a postseason drought, and it's just like I said, early in the show, there's no positives to see with this team, other than the fact that Harper is doing what he can, Castellanos is doing what he can. Alvarado can cut his losses here, can actually go somewhere else. Girardi has to go. I know a lot of it's just like, and it's at some points because I had people telling me it's just like, and I made a video about it too, and I had to share it with some of kind of do my own self promotion, all that stuff. Is that the because I posed the question, like, the Phillies should or not pose the question, but the Phillies should fire Joe Girardi and I think my buddy of mine, who's the other half of the Phillies Sports Talk podcast, Tyler, is that it's not Joe's fault. Yeah, it might not be Joe's fault, but you just gotta blame the mismanagement of his usage of the bullpen. Leaving out guys that should not be out there as long as he did. Nick Nelson, definitely not rely on Alvarado, who is very inconsistent, can't throw a strike to save his life. Norwood, just stay away from him. Knebel has, like I said, has been hit and miss this entire so far this year. Um, it's just like there's some pieces that we just need to upgrade. Obviously, get some better arms in the bullpen. Definitely, we need. We I'll be honest, we could definitely use a better first baseman because I'm really starting. Like I said, I'm really starting to dislike Rhys Hoskins and the approach he's taking at the plate because what I mean by this is like he's letting like hittable pitches like right down the middle. Like if it's like on the inner half and that's very hittable, he'll let that go like almost 100% of the time. It's like I don't really understand player from a player perspective of you know like it kind of gets you it makes me think like what the hell are you doing? Like if it's there, I've always been taught if you get a hittable pitch, don't miss it. And if it's not there, just leave it. Almost 100% of the time, most of these guys are getting hittable pitches, and they're. I mean, I've seen Harper take hacks at some. Castellanos has taken some hacks. Like players that are just. I think we can, like I said, can definitely cut our losses with. One of them is Schwarber. Like I mentioned too, like I'll hold up the top about Schwarber, and I did kind of go over a little bit about Schwarber. Schwarber, I feel like that 1 year was a fluke, and I can see why a lot of teams passed up on him, and the fact they only left us to sign him, which is embarrassing because thought we can also bring it since we brought in also Kevin Long, who also had ties with him, and try to make that work. But apparently for Schwarber, that is not working. Now I'm not saying Kevin Long is a bad hitting coach or anything, but I've seen like during his time with the New York Mets. It's just that Kevin Long has done a good job with some hitters over the years as a hitting coach. I'm just thinking it's just more on the player than it is, other than the coaching. I mean, our bullpen coaching just really doesn't help us at all either ways too. Some of their bullpen guys. It's just, and then that's another thing too. Like at times we have a tendency, or Girardi, I should say, has a tendency to putting guys in really weird situations where they're not going to be be successful at. It's just, I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where like I don't know. I really don't. Like I said, I don't have no words of how this team is going to be going forward. The next, if Girardi's still here, then it's going to be another year of disappointment because at this point, because I kind of mentioned this too, like after Cowper got canned, I think I told Dante this too. We came down to two candidates. That was Girardi and Showalter. We brought Showalter back for a second interview. I thought Showalter might have done well in the second interview, but apparently that was not the case, and we went with Girardi. And now we're seeing what Buck Showalter is doing with the New York Mets, plain and simple. But who's to say if they're going to keep up that pace? Because history sometimes can be a cruel mistress at times because of the fact that the Mets have a tendency to choke in the second half. They know how to really know how to really drop the ball on things. And so does the Phillies. So we don't really have that much room to talk. But because since we're, like I said, we're coming up the All-Star break very soon, we need to step it up because if we can't make the postseason, then Girardi's got to be done. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Plain and simple. Girardi should be done. I think his time in Philadelphia it might be come to an end. And I know a lot of Phillies fans, myself included, would be happy to see that. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts in the chat. But yeah. It's just, I don't know, but I want to kind of let me know in your chat. Come on. But it's just, like I said, there's like I know this, I want to try to make this a short episode as possible. Try to fill up in an hour, if I can, because this team, I don't know. Like I said, there's no words to describe just how bad and just how flawed this team really is. Obviously, coming from the bullpen, obviously, the defense has not been there. And the fact that if Harper didn't have a torn UCL in his elbow, I think I'd rather see Castellanos as a DH and have Schwarber out of here. And the fact that, hell, there are times where I want to see Odubel in the outfield as well, because let's be real, I think he's more of a competent but he's somewhat a slight above average outfielder than Roman Quinn. It's just that the fact that it's most Cole. It seems to me like he's like I said, for those who are kind of tuning in late, he kind of made a comment saying, he's absolutely. That's another problem and that's what I have a problem with Girardi at times. And I think a lot of Phillies fans know, because for some reason we always pick up former Yankee rejects that used to play under him or Aaron Boone, and they just don't turn out to do well. And we're seeing it out of, Nick Nelson. I can't even think of who else is out who pitched for the Yankee or was in the Yankees organization, other than the fact that there's some guys that needs to go, and that's Alvarado, Familia. I think Knebel could probably finish out the rest of the year, but in reality, we really hadn't had a solid true closer since Brad Lidge. That kind of for those who are non-baseball fans, that should tell you. It tells us that we never had a true closer. Now, I will give benefit of the doubt to Corey Knebel, because he does have been experience of being yeah, that's another thing too. So anything, I could imagine how fresh Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to be, not being used on multiple occasions. Now, I'm not saying Bilotti is a bad reliever by any stretch of the means. I mean, he's got, despite the fact he's only got an ERA of sub-3, but what reliever doesn't have an ERA under 3? Other than, Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think he's an ERA under 2. Now, Bilotti, I thought, has been a solid arm. I mean, has been hit and misses at times. It's just with Sir Anthony Dominguez, the fact that Girardi doesn't want to use him, as for me, as a pitcher, I'll just if I'm going to get screwed over and have someone else or a manager not, say if I'm the remaining available guy in the bullpen, I would just ask her to trade right then and there. I'm sorry, but I think for me, I feel like Dominguez deserves better than this shit. I'm sorry. Because the fact that Girardi doesn't want to, and for example, the fact that he only throws one inning, doesn't want to use let's give him a rest. It gets to the point whereas I would say, because for me, and I love Sir Anthony Dominguez, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like he deserves better away from here. I'm sorry. Because Girardi, like I said, Girardi just does not, and has the tendency to mismanage. Now, Buck Showalter at times has the tendency to mismanage the bullpen at times during his managerial career, but it's just, I think I thought we chose the wrong guy, because for me, I was on the Buck Showalter train, because I feel like someone like Buck Showalter, I think, can actually motivate a team. And we're seeing with the Mets, perfect example. Like I said, and that's another problem. That's a very good point. With some of these relievers are throwing low, say 9-10 pitches or something like that, and they're not saying, we're not, and George said, they're not going to be available. That's some bullshit. Let them pitch. They're the reason why, and that's another. And I feel like that's another reason why I feel like Knebel could be struggling too. It's because Girardi's ruining his confidence. And it's just, and that's another problem that I have with Girardi at times. It's He wants to rely on guys longer than he should have, and that ruins the confidence of other guys that are in the bullpen. Sir Anthony Dominguez, and I could imagine how pissed he might feel. And with Knebel, I know his confidence has been shot. I mean, he's already blown 3 saves, but still, it's just I don't really understand it. Like Girardi, I know I do apologize that I'm kind of rant on Girardi, but this. Oh yeah, watch us get swept by the Angels too. I don't see us winning that series. I really truly don't, because I don't have faith in this team anymore. Like it gets to the point where I'm so numb to this disappointment year in, year out, and nothing fucking changes. I mean, I can't trust him either, Arku. This franchise has been the fact that we're one of the oldest. The Yankees are probably one of the oldest, but we've been around since 1887. I mean, we had many players come and go through this organization, different managers, Connie Mack in the 50s, back then, in the 40s and the 50s, and sometimes in the 30s. We brought Charlie Manuel in 2007. Pretty much turned that franchise around. Gets fired, I think, not even halfway through 2015. Absolutely. And that's another problem. As a bullpen guy myself, it pisses me off. It really pisses me off to no avail to see some of these guys, who get 2, 3, 4 days of rest, and I don't know. It's getting to the point where I can't trust this team anymore. I'm so numb to the point where I want Middleton to sell this team because I feel like I feel like this ownership has failed us. I know Middleton, the fact, and I made a couple videos on Middleton. It's just like I said, me and many Phillies fans, we're kind of numb to this point. It's ridiculous. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, even though I'm kind of stopping through. Yeah, I don't know what to say either. This franchise has failed us the last 2 to 3 years since let's go back to 2015. We had some different managers. I mean, the fact we brought in Clentak, we thought that was going to be better, but that didn't freaking work. Same with McPhail. Brought in 2 guys that were in Baltimore. Well, McPhail's was from Baltimore, but it's just really, it gets to the point where how much more do we have to sit here and watch this team that some of these players are they don't feel motivated to go out and play, but you're having players like Castellanos trying the best he can, and with Harper, who, let's be real, the reigning NL MVP with the torn UCL on his arm, and the fact that he's kind of the fact he's also pissed off about it, that should tell you something. The front office needs to realize that. Girardi needs to realize that, because I just feel like Girardi just has completely failed us. Now, granted, I know that's not the best. Even though I know our bullpen has been our Achilles heel for the last couple of years, and we really had. I'll say this too: we haven't really had a solid bullpen since 07, 08. We had something. We had thought we had a good bullpen with some solid arms. Yeah, I really hope so, because I'm not getting my hopes up. I mean, I really don't see the point of getting my hopes up, because I don't know. Like I said, it's really embarrassing to be a Phillies fan at this point, because there are times where I just see young college kids who play, and that's another thing too. I feel like college baseball has been much more fun to watch than the Phillies. Let's be truly honest, because it just seems to me that some of these kids are actually wanting to play. And Harper, like I said, Harper's doing what he can, especially with the torn UCL in his elbow. Castellanos is doing what he can. I know Castellanos now is starting to get hot starting to get hot. JT is starting to get there, starting to come around. Stubbs, I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, that's going to be a big if, Arku. That's a big if for me. I don't know, but other than that, it's just like I don't know what else to really say about how bad. I don't know, but it's just now when it comes to the trade deadline, though, there's a few. Like I do want to try to trade some try to get some bullpen arms at the trade deadline. That depends who's going to be available at the trade deadline. Obviously, exactly. Like I'm not going to fully. I don't have. I lost faith in them, but I'm not completely done with them. And like Harper is getting. I mean, Harper I think is still hot. Castellanos is starting to get hot at the right time. Schwarber, I think, can still stay ice cold as it is. Now, I don't be surprised if Schwarber would leave. And that's another thing, too. Like, Segura has been red hot so far in the month of May. I think he has like a hit. I think it's like a 13 or 14 hitting game streak going. But the fact of the matter is that Girardi has Segura sometimes hitting in the 4th, the 5th spot, where you could have it gets. I don't know, like the way I can see this, and yeah, we do have an easy schedule coming up, but there's going to be some teams along that way we're going to have to. Obviously, we need to try to beat one, and that team's going to be the we got the Marlins coming up very soon. Brewers, we could definitely beat them if a certain umpire needs to stay away from that series. Marlins, we really need to step it up against the Marlins. Wait, is the lineup actually out? Because I need to check. Is the lineup even out? That's a good question. Let's take a look. Like I said, Schwarber's why? Hey, if we fall flat in the second half, don't be surprised if he fails again. Hey, yeah, lineup's out. Me too, huh? Of course Short has to have. Well, let's see, Segura. I don't mind him hitting 2, but why Schwarber in the leadoff spot? I feel like when we play. So for me, I can't trust that. Like for me and like few other Phillies fans, like Segura, yes, I can see Segura hitting first or second in the order because that's where I typically I could see with when it comes to lineup construction. No, I said, well, let me take a look at the. See, for me, I wouldn't mind having Moniak as the leadoff guy because I feel Moniak, despite he has some power, but he does have some speed. But Schwarber doesn't have speed, though. That's the thing. I would have Schwarber as the number in the 6 hole. Have Bohm. See, what do we got? Hoskins. I mean, Hoskins can stay where he is. Rubnich can stay at 6. Bohm 7. Okay, like the lineup's not bad, but just. We need to do something about that line, that leadoff, because Schwarber ain't it. And like I said about Schwarber, he's just now like I said, he's not. I feel like last year, it was kind of a fluke because of what he did in Washington. Now, who's to say in the second half if we start to get hot, then we're gonna. But for me, I'm not holding my breath because knowing how the Phillies are, that's just how. The Phillies were last 2 to 3 years. Now with the trade deadline, I think coming up, I think that's probably after the or before the all. When is the? That's going to be a good question. That's a good question I can pose myself. All right, so just give me 1 second, guys. Trying to see when is the. It's got to be somewhere in July before the All-Star break. I know that for a fact. But he's out of the Ford that's still here with me. Still kind of talking Phillies a little bit, ranting a little bit at the same time. All right, so May 28th. So we got the trade deadline now coming up. Now, my thing is, it's like we need to get some bullpen arms because pitchers Norwood needs to get it. We need to deal Norwood away. We need to also deal Alvarado away. I don't even know who else is in our bullpen. Keep Sir Anthony because, Sir Anthony has been one of our better bullpen guys. Jeez. I don't know, man. But other than that, like I said, we got the All-Star break coming up in July. The trade deadline's right around the corner. Wait. What? Okay. I don't know anymore. But other than that, I don't know. But it's like I said, this Phillies team, when I started streaming almost soon to be in about an hour ago, because we're about more than an hour in. That's the thing. The prospect wise, that's the problem I might run with the Phillies team right now, is that we have some studs in our farm system, and let's be real, our farm system they rank at the bottom of the barrel in Major League Baseball. About 3:00 is when I started streaming. So 3:00 I started streaming. So, see, that's the thing too. We really don't have any good prospects other than Painter, Mick Abel, and that's another problem that I have with this Phillies organization. Yeah, you did ask, man. But other than that, for me, I just think someone like Francisco Morales, let's be real, in the short amount of time he was in the major leagues, pitched really well for us. And the fact that they sent him down afterwards it's embarrassing. Like the Phillies should not have someone like who's balling out, in a short sample size, for the since getting called up, but is also balling and now really pitching well. I think it was I think last time I checked, he had an ERA under 1. That is a head scratcher. I swear, sometimes we know how to mismanage sometimes our prospects at times. Now, who's to say that? Because I know Abel and Mick Abel and Andrew Painter are probably going to be our untouchable prospects. Because we still got Josh Ockamy in the. Yeah, tell me about it, Max. Well, also too, Max, it is fucking hot. It's legitimately hot in my fucking room. I have all my windows open and my fan on. It is still fucking hot as a sauna. Hey, look, I have closed games. Trust me, I do have a couple saves in my back pocket in my career. It's as a bullpen guy and see some of these guys just fold under the pressure. It's just you don't deserve to be at the major league level because. With the minor leagues, yeah, that's a whole different style of play. And then you got the major leagues. You're facing tougher competition because it's no, I'm doing a live play-by-play on my channel. I play in the amateur men's league, but I am technically one of my team's bullpen guy. And yeah, well, this is what we get for summer, but it is what it is. But we got another minute and a half before we call it a day here before we get ready for the Phillies game at 6:45. But yeah, it's just now my thing is it's just now I don't actually let me research the MLB trade deadline. Did we miss it? I feel like we missed the trade deadline, didn't we? or maybe I could be wrong. Give me 1 second, guys. Trade. All right. All right, so August 2nd will be the trade. Man, this is really in August? That's crazy. All right, so in July. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's late July, early August. Now, my thing is like I said, we get the All-Star break coming up in early July, and we got the trade deadline going towards the end of the month. It's just like there's a lot of players I think definitely could use more bullpen arms. I know that for a fact. Now, Chad Green, I would not mind having the bullpen. I should let me see how well is he pitching this year. Because I need to start doing some evaluation on some potential, trade candidate or trade deadline candidates in case of the Phillies want to make some. Oh, that's a good question. For me, I say the American League. I'm gonna have to go with Vladdy Jr. Oh, so okay. What up, Coach Spotlight? So, Max, to answer your question, I'm going to go with American League, Vlad Jr. because, I mean, the dude's putting up some serious numbers, and he's really making a case. Obviously, finishing up as a runner-up to the unanimous winner, Shohei Ohtani. I say give it to Vlad Jr. I mean, National League, oh, that's tough. I would say Harper, but I don't know. I don't know who else has kind of been balling out of the National League. I mean, that's a good question. It's going to be tough, like I said, because it's like there's so many good candidates in the American League because the American League's always been competitive. I think it's going to, for me, look, as much as I want to see Mike Trout, because obviously huge shout outs to Millville, New Jersey. Not going to lie, the Phillies should not have passed up on him. God damn it. But, jeez. I think it might come down to Vlad Jr. and Judge. But, like I said, it's tough in the American League because, you got Shohei Ohtani kind of balling off. Judge is balling. Vladdy's Jr.'s balling. I could definitely get. I was, you know what? I can go with Coach, but I can definitely go with that argument right there. And that's another problem. And that's another thing too. Like the Angels, obviously we have to play the Angels. We're also playing this Angels after this Giants. Like I said, I have no faith in this goddamn team whatsoever to play the. Who knows? We might get swept by the Angels. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see us getting swept by the Angels because this team is absolute. I don't know. Like this team stinks, and see, Aaron Judge. I can definitely see that, but Vladdy, I don't know. But both are having great seasons. That's tough. Either way, you can't go wrong with either. Cole. Cole, we have a track record of falling short in September because September is one of the worst months that we ever play. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, that's another thing too. That's a weird thing because we always play well in April, May, June. Well, not last year because last year there was I think June. I think we had like a somewhat of a skid. Not lose should not number one. We got the because I know we got the Diamondbacks coming up in the but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like the thing is, like the Phillies have a track record of falling short in the month of September because we saw that last year. Especially when they've had to play some big games in September. And we fell short. And, we saw, this is when Hoskins went down and A lot of people went down, and that just ruined the momentum. But then again, but the only positive that came out of it is Harper getting the NL MVP. But I'll give that only as a positive because of that. Because then obviously we got a couple series coming up with the Diamondbacks. Let's be real, I'm not really looking forward to that because of last year, just based on the fact that the Diamondbacks are not that great. And it's just the Diamondbacks. Number one, we should not have got swept by the Diamondbacks in the first place. We never should have done that last year. Not get swept by the fucking Diamondbacks. If we get swept by them again, hypothetically, we get swept on them again, then we got a problem. That's all I got to say. But other than that, I appreciate for those years. That would be fun. That would be fun. You know, that's a good point. I don't know what's going on with him. Like, I think he's starting to come around, but early in the season, he just stunk. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, we have some guys who are starting to come around at the, before this, obviously, like I said, we're a month away from the All-Star break. Harper's still doing his thing. Castellanos is starting to get hot. Real Mewtwo is starting to come around. I don't know. I just feel like it's. Damn. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I do appreciate for those who are tuning in or who tuned in. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys, who are new. With that being said, that's another episode of the Phillies Top Podcast, episode 6. I'll see you guys in the next one.